Hey guys, welcome back. Today is another day in front of the computer monitors. Today we are going over my anticipated releases for 2022. I'm excited. There's a good amount of books that I am interested in and a decent amount that I just don't care about. So I'm giving you a small list. This is going to be 25 of the books that I am interested in. The top 25 that I would really like to get to. I have my Goodreads always linked down below, and I have an entire collection, list, folder, shelf. I have an entire shelf for all currently 64 of my anticipated releases for 2022. So if you want to see more, check more out, that is always going to be down below for you. I wanted to go over the releases that I'm interested in, maybe read some synopsises for them, see what they're actually about and if I'm actually interested. So yeah, let's just get into it. The first 3 of these books are actually already released. They released January 4th, but I'm still interested and they still count. So the first one is Echoes and Empires by Morgan Rhodes. A snarky 17-year-old must team up with an enigmatic criminal to cure enigmatic. Yeah. Criminal to cure herself of dangerous forbidden magic in the first book of a new fantasy duology from Morgan Rhodes. Okay. I do like fantasy. I love this cover. This cover is so pretty. It's got decent ratings. It's got a 3.72 so far on Goodreads. It is definitely one that I'm interested in, but it's not like the highest of my list. Next on my list is It Will End Like This from Kyra Lee, for fans of cheerleaders and Sadie. Sadie is a book that I would really love to get to. I know it's a podcast thriller and I fuck with those, so I would love to get to that. Comes a psychological thriller that reminds us that in real life, endings are rarely as neat and as happy ever after. A contemporary take on the Lizzie Borden story that explores how grief can cut deep. Ooh. I remember the 2-part documentary series somebody did, like Lifetime or something, on Lizzie Borden, and then there was a reenactment movie. I'm very interested in this. This is a young adult horror thriller. I've noticed that a lot of these are horror thriller because that's kind of mostly what I read, and I would love to read more throughout the year besides just the book club picks for the Literally Dead book club. So yeah, I'm excited for that. And the third one that was already released on the 4th is The Girl Who Knew Too Much by Tiffany Brooks. You think it's a game? Think again. This is a young adult mystery thriller. Suddenly, Riley is dropped onto a deserted tropical island with 19 other teens competing for $1 million and rumored treasure lost on the island. So it sounds like a lot of people are going to die, don't get attached to characters. It'll be interesting for sure. It sounds like a lot of people are getting hunted and have to find this treasure for like reality TV. Interesting. I hope the reality TV aspect of it isn't too heavy because it's not something I'm really interested in, but either way, it sounds good. It sounds like it could be a fun little YA thriller. We'll see. Releasing January 11th, we have Daughter... Oh wait, that's already passed. I'm so behind schedule. Already released book, Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Sue Lin Tan. A captivating debut fantasy inspired by the legends of Shang-Yi, a Chinese moon goddess in which a young woman's quest to free her mother pits her against the most powerful immortal in the realm. I love fantasy. I love Asian-inspired fantasy especially. There's just something about it that makes it so good. I don't know. It's just like elevated to the next level. Enchanting romantic duology which weaves ancient Chinese mythology into sweeping adventures of immortals and magic, where love vies Spies with humor. Honor. I can't read. I'm illiterate. Dreams are fraught with betrayal, and hope emerges triumph. It sounds good. This cover, I won't lie, the cover really spoke to me. And that might be why it's on the list. But the plot sounds good too, don't get me wrong. The next one is kind of in the same vein. This one is released February 22nd. And this cover. This is The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axio. The cover! Like, yes, please. Give me more fantasy. I love this trend. I don't want to call it a trend, but it is definitely really popular in the fantasy genre right now for it to be Asian inspired. And I'm here for it. I love it. Let's see. So this sounds like our main character gets thrown literally underwater and enters into the spirit realm with lesser gods and mystical beasts. I love that. That sounds so interesting. There's demons, gods, and spirits, and she's looking to wake the sea god and end the killer storms once and for all. Ooh, yeah. I'm into it. I love anything surrounding water. I love oceanic things. I've said that so many times. You can blame House of Salt and Sorrow for that, but I just love it. I eat that shit up. Alright. Moving on. March 1st, The Book of Living Secrets by Madeline Rowe. She wrote the Asylum series that I loved in high school, and I would love to revisit soon because they like genuinely scared me. They were the first horror books that genuinely like terrified me to the core. Like I couldn't sleep at night. This is a fantasy horror for young adult. The story follows two girls who transport themselves into the world of their favorite book only to encounter the sinister alternate reality that awaits them. Oh, that sounds so good. This cover also. The covers this year kind of just fucking slap, man. These are such good covers. Another great cover. This is being released March 3rd. This is Our Wives Under the Sea by Julia Armfield. This cover alone, like, I don't really know what it's about. I think I saw it on somebody else's anticipated release video, and the cover just blew me away. And then I think someone read an arc of it and said that it was like amazing, fantastic, wonderful, and I'm very excited. This is a horror. I guess it's a little bit lesbian. That's exciting. I think this will be interesting. I feel like it could go a few ways, but again, ocean floor, keywords popping out at me. You know how I feel. Next in March is kind of a busy month for releases, I guess, but March 8th, A Far Wilder Magic by Allison Saft. I have no idea what this is about. Not a fucking clue. But I really like the cover. The contrast of the like background with like the bright yellow kind of speaks to me. I kind of enjoy it. I know that Riley Sager's book that comes out later this year also is kind of like that, and the next book I'm going to talk about is also like this. So I guess it's a trend, and apparently I'm falling for it. But this has alchemy in it, I think, a bunch of different fantasy magic-y things. I don't really want to know too much going into it, but I'm liking these keywords that are jumping out, like ghost. Anything with ghost, I'm here for it. Okay, this one, next one, March 15th. Peter Swanson, everybody, 9 Lives. If you know me and you've watched some of my end of year videos, I loved Every Value Break because it was such a fun thriller that I've still to this day never read anything like. And so I'm excited to continue down the path of Peter Swanson and what he has to offer. And he's coming out with his newest release. This is a story of 9 strangers who receive a cryptic list with their names on it and then begin to die at highly unusual circumstances. Ooh, yeah. I think this is going to be so much fun. I know that we're following an FBI agent, so there might be like criminal thriller. I don't know. I don't know where it's going to go, but it'll be interesting. I'm kind of getting Black Mirror vibes, maybe? I don't know. We will see, we will see, we will see. Alright, and we're just gonna keep trucking along. Get this done quick. Don't talk too much because I don't have much to say. March 22nd, What We Harvest by Anne Freystadt. This is for fans of Wilder Girls. I haven't read that yet. Comes a nightmarish debut, guaranteed to keep you up through the night, about this idyllic small town poisoned by its past and one girl who must fight the strange disease that's slowly claiming everyone she loves. I can't speak, I shouldn't be doing this. This is a young adult fantasy horror, my favorite genres. Are we surprised? This looks very good. It sounds very good. Sounds intriguing. It kind of gives me potential Aaron A. Craig Small Favor vibes. I haven't read that yet either, but that's like a small town horror, similar to The Village. So that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting. Moving on. March 29th. The Resting Place, written by Camilla Sten. This copy will be translated by Alexandra Fleming. A spine-chilling, purposive psychological suspense from international sensation Camilla Sten. This is going to be a horror thriller. I have no idea what it is about. Looks like we're following at least 2 characters. Some mental health representation. Some dying. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. Could be interesting, could be interesting. I love horror. I always go into them not knowing anything, which is why it's unfortunate to have so much on this list. But here we are anyway. Up next! April 5th, Hotel Magnifique by Emily J. Taylor for fans of Caraval and the Night Circus. This decadent and darkly enchanting YA fantasy set against the backdrop of a Belle Epoque, I don't know French, inspired hotel follows 17-year-old Janny as she uncovers the deeply disturbing secrets of the legendary Hotel Magnifique. I don't know why I keep talking. I can't do it today. But this is a historical fiction fantasy young adult. And swiftly moving on, April 12th, And Then I Woke Up by Malcolm Delvin. In the tradition of Myra Grant and Stephen Graham Jones, Malcolm Delvin's And Then I Woke Up is creepy, layered literary story about false narratives and their ability to divide us. A scathing portrayal of the world we live in, and a running commentary on what's story, what's truth, and what's not by Stephen Graham Jones. Obviously he blurbed it. Obviously it's good, right? It's gotta be. This is an adult horror. I love the cover, the colors, everything about it is just nice. I'm very excited. I'm so excited to read so much horror. Now, let's discuss my absolutely most anticipated release. I'm too excited. I Am the Ghost in Your House, written by Maria Ramasco Moore. Do I know what this is about? Absolutely not. I've never read the synopsis and I don't know if I want to. But look at this fucking cover. I'm so obsessed. Like, it is so beautiful. It means everything to me. This is my favorite cover of the year. I am so excited to see what this is about. I'm just, oh. A wildly unique story about an invisible girl struggling to keep herself in a world obsessed with appearance. This is young adult, fantasy, paranormal, LGBTQ, apparently. Now, April 26th, I have Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher. And I actually have 2 of their books that they're releasing this year for adult and maybe young adult. They might be both adult, I'm not sure. Now, I did read The Hollow Places and I didn't love it. So I am a little bit hesitant to pick up more of her books, but I am excited to see what she has to offer. I know that Ursula Vernon is her actual name that she uses for her children's stuff, So I am excited to see what she can do, and if maybe her writing has matured a little bit. I feel like it's hard to do both because The Hollow Places just sounded so young to me, like it was very immature, and I just didn't like it. Alright, next up, May 3rd. I'm excited for this one. This is Book of Night by Holly Black. I think this is going to be a standalone, and I'm ready for that because I read a snippet short story from Holly Black and loved it. I loved her writing. So I'm very excited to see what she has to offer. This is her adult debut. Ooh, a modern dark fantasy of shadowy thieves, secret societies in the vein of Ninth House and the Night Circus. Interesting. Interesting. May 24th. I'm also super extremely excited for this one. This is Hide by Kirsten White. High stakes hide and seek competition turns deadly in a supernatural thriller. Yes. Yes. That sounds amazing. That sounds so spectacular. Like, abso-fucking-lutely. Please sign me up. I will be reading that. Alright, next. June of sometime. We're not sure. Our Crooked Hearts by Melissa Albert. This is getting a lot of, as you can see, the pink, a lot of branding on Goodreads, which is interesting. She wrote the Hazelwoods. I've read her before. This is going to be a young adult fantasy. I started the Hazelwood and I didn't hate it, but it took me a long time to get into. So I am a little bit worried about Our Crooked Hearts and if I'm going to enjoy it or not. But this will be her second chance with me, I suppose. I am hoping to finish the Hazelwood duology plus the tag-along companion fairy tale book, but we'll see. I have no idea what this is about, but we're following a 17-year-old Ivy in the summer. Makes sense. It's being released in June. And oh, we're following two perspectives of different timelines. Interesting. Huh. That doesn't sound as good as I was hoping just from that, but it's fine. I'm sure it'll be better than what I think. It's great. It's fine. Anyway, moving on. June 7th, I have Games for Dead Girls. This is written by Jen Williams. I think this is going to be a thriller, horror, mystery. There's talks of potential monsters, death, hiding bodies, you know, the usual. Classic. Next is June 7th, The Woman in the Library. This is written by Solari Gentile. This is a murder. No, this is just, oh, there is a murder. I should have known. Of course I should have known. This is a mystery thriller, basically about a woman who I think there's like a lockdown in a public library. And they're waiting for it to be safe, clear to leave, I guess. So it sounds kind of like, I don't know what to compare it to. What is it? They're sitting around and one of them is a murderer. It's kind of like a Clue. Clue vibes. We'll see. I don't know. That's kind of what I'm getting at. Alright, continuing. June 12th, Wake the Bones by Elizabeth Kilcombe. This is a young adult horror fantasy. Again, I love the covers. I love where covers are going right now. And her bone pile just stood up and walked away. What? The sleepy little farm that Laurel Early grew up on has awakened. The woods are shifting, the soil is dead under her hands, and her bone pile just stood up and walked away? Okay. This will be interesting. I'm gonna leave it at that. Moving on. July 12th. This is the other T. Kingfisher book that is being released. This is another adult horror. This is What Moves the Dead. It seems kind of like it's in vein with, more similar to her normal stuff that she writes, which worries me a little bit. This is an atmospheric retelling of Edgar Allan Poe's classic, The Fallen of the House of Usher. I have not read that, but maybe I should check that out before I read this one. Maybe that'll ruin the experience. I don't know. But it'll be interesting. Continuing on. This book I genuinely just put on here because I love this author and I wanted to see what she has to offer next. Again, it's another thriller, August 9th, Stay Awake by Megan Golden. She wrote The Night Swim, which is making its rounds again on BookTube, it seems. But yes, I'm very excited to see what she has to offer next. I really, really loved that book, so I'm excited to see what this is going to be about. It looks like we're just following one person too, which is interesting. Oh, yeah. She, like, sleeps, like, she, like, blacks out and, like, weird things happen, so she has to stay awake because if not, like, the monsters or some, I don't know. I'm interested, though. Another one being released same day, August 9th, is These Fleeting Shadows. This is written by Kate Alice Marshall. This is a young adult fantasy horror. Do I keep needing to say that? Because that's all it ever is. This is pitched as The Haunting of Hill House meets Knives Out in a bid for an inheritance that will leave Helen Vaughn either rich or dead. I have not watched Knives Out, but everything seems to be relating back to it. I have a copy of the Inheritance game, which is very popular and beloved by many, so I am interested in checking it out, but it is one of those things that I don't know, is it worth the hype? I definitely want to check out the movie, because the movie apparently seems very worth the hype, because everyone loves it and everyone's taking inspiration. Knives Out is like the new Get Out. That's kind of how I see them. Alright, and the final one, the last one, August 16th. Books don't typically get released super late. I think I only have one book on my list released for October, so more will be added. Maybe I will do this video again in like June when we get the next half of the year's releases. We'll see. But the last one is The Drowned Woods by Emily Lloyd Jones. This is a fantasy retelling of something. Don't know what. It's set in the same world as The Bone Houses, but with a whole new unforgettable cast of characters and is part heist novel and part dark fairy tale. I'm intrigued. I have not read The Bone Houses, but I suppose I could check that out and maybe I'll understand the world better, but we'll see. I hope that it's not too entwined, because I do like the idea of being separate enough. So I do hope that with this companion novel it's not too, like, relying on you to read the other book, like it explains everything fine without, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm so excited. So excited for these reads. I know that there's going to be some smashing hits. I have very high hopes for most of these to be a 5-star prediction, so fingers crossed it goes well. Let me know down below, like, what are some of the books that you're really anticipating, really looking forward to? What's some books that you just, like, need on your TBR now? Like, what would you want to get your hands on right now if you could? Let me know. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope to see you very soon. Bye!